Hey guys, Happy Dude here, and I can't believe it, but I have this car now more than a year. And that means that I'm going to keep the car for a longer time, because if I don't like a car within 3 months, it's going away and I'm searching for another one. And that also means that you are going to get a very fair review, because it's always better to hear it from a person who has been driving it each day for a whole year than from some guy that has been testing this car for only 1 day. Okay, enough chit chat, let's get on with the review. First of all, let's start with the problems that I had with this car in the year. So after I think 3 months, I get a error message on the dashboard for the indicators. It was mostly when I turned left and sometimes when I turned right. So when I turned left on the indicators, this happened. They flashed really fast, and that was the first stage of the problem. The second stage was that they just don't work anymore. So make sure that you test the indicators with the hazard lights, and also with the knob on the steering wheel, and also when you close the car and when you open it, to make sure all the indicators are working. Now I have searched this problem online, and it seems that a lot of BMWs with LEDs have this problem, and I've also taken out the light to see if you can take it apart, and I don't think you can take it apart without breaking something. So you have to replace the whole taillight, and those lights aren't cheap, so make sure you check those. And the problem seems to be always with the rear lights. Luckily, BMW have replaced the taillights under warranty. And in the 5th month, the next problem was even more expensive. The iDrive just stopped working. After exactly 2 minutes, it always restarted. And I didn't have any connection with internet. Also the navigation stopped working, the radio stopped working, and it just kept on rebooting. So I tried to solve this problem myself by asking people and searching on the internet and calling with BMW what I could do. They said update the iDrive and the navigation system, so I did, but unfortunately the problem wasn't solved by doing that. So the car went back to BMW and they replaced the whole iDrive. And luckily the problem was resolved and I didn't have any problems afterwards. Luckily this also was under warranty, because I think this would be very expensive if you need to buy another one. So also make sure to check that if you want to buy one. And that were the only problems that I had with this car. So from then until now, I didn't have any problems with the car anymore. Okay, that was everything for the electronic part. Now we are going over to the mechanical parts. Let's start with the brakes. Now for on the street, the brakes are very good, but if you want to race on the track, you will need to replace the brake pads, because they overheat very fast. Oh, and also replace the brake fluid that's under here. Also check the fluid if it's on level and nice and clear. Just pull this clip out, and there's the reservoir. Next up, check the brake calipers itself, if the color is nice and blue, because if the color is black or dark green, that means that this car has been driven very hard and also very often on the racetrack. Okay, time for the engine, the most important thing in the car, of course. Take the lid off, check for any leaks that you can find under there. It's very easy to take off, you just pull it off. And also do a readout in the computer with the OBD scanner to check for error messages inside the car. Other than that, this N55 engine is pretty bulletproof. They are very strong and don't have any problems whatsoever. It's basically a N54 engine that has been upgraded, and the mechanical faults that that engine had has been addressed, like the ignition system, the fuel system, and all the other problems that you can find on the internet. The only problem that I could find with other users is that this tube right here that goes from the intercooler to the throttle body, that can crack, and you will immediately feel that, because the car will not have any power. You will have error messages, so that's easy to spot. And then of course all the rest is pretty basic stuff. Check the edges all around the car so you can see if the car was in a crash, or by a meter, so you can measure the paint surface, so you can see if it had been repainted. Also check everything inside the engine bay. Check for any leaks on the edges of the engine, the oil filter, also under the car, of course, because all the fluids will go down. Check the coolant, if it's on the right level and if it has the right color with a flashlight. Also check the oil inside here. So everything is nice and clear. And that's basically all of it. And the gearbox with the double clutch is very strong. You can check this by putting the car in reverse. If you hear a slight bonk, that's normal. Drive slow, try each gear, and of course put it in sport and sport plus mode, and shift manually, and also let the car do it automatically. Check for any hiccups. So I don't really find any things about this car that I don't like, so I really have to nitpick. Like for instance, this support could be a bit better, a bit higher, because if I'm driving on the track my legs are flying everywhere. and also there's not really a place to put down your key or your smartphone. You can put it here, but if there's some stuff here and a can here, you can't put your key anywhere other than your pocket. But if it falls out, it's very hard to reach when the key is down there. And then for the smartphone, it's just a bit too big, so if they could make this a tiny bit bigger for a smartphone, because this also flies everywhere. The only safe place I can put it is here. But if you have a passenger, that's also a problem. Then you can put it here. Oh, and maybe the springs are a bit too hard. So, aside from those tiny problems, I adore this car. I like the way how it looks, how it feels, how it drives, and how it sounds. So I don't think I'm going to sell this car ever. And of course, if you want to buy one, it's always best to choose one that hasn't been tuned. Like for instance, the problem with the charge pipe from the intercooler to the throttle body. That's only a problem if the car has been tuned or the car has more than 100,000 kilometers. Okay guys, that was everything I wanted to mention. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe and give it a like, and you all have a nice day. Bye!